BlogTalk Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to another conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience. In this conversation, we'll be talking about the Fukushima nuclear disaster and how this may begin to affect your Kundalini life, and what the Kundalini response may be in regards to that disaster. But first, I would like to welcome Amelia Centara, my co-host for these programs, also a sponsor of these programs. I'd like to thank you, Amelia Centara, and John, because I know John's listening. So, John, thank you. And I'd like to thank the entire John and Amelia clan in the county of Kerry, in the country of Ireland. So, thank you, Amelia Centara.
You are very welcome indeed. You are very welcome indeed, Chrism. It's good to be here. So, if I can, at the start of the show, I'd like to do what I usually do, which is to give the web address of where listeners can go if they want to make a donation to support the work and service that Chrism gives to people who are experiencing a Kundalini awakening. And that address is www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. And I know Chrism said in the past, that he does not do this work 24/7, but believe me, he almost does. I mean, he communicates with people all over the world in all the venues in the different ways that he does that. And so he's active in all the time zones in order to be of service to people. So, okay, he's correct in that he does sleep at times, but in any case, this is his full-time work. And due to the nature of that work and the time consumption, it's his only means of income donations. So if you're in a position to make a donation, it's received with gratitude for the support it offers in enabling Chrism to continue with this work. And just to say as well that this information is being given as I feel it's necessary to give it to the listeners for those who want to donate and can. But please note that there's no pressure and no obligation on anybody to do so. I'm going to give you the address again. It's www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. And that's it. Actually, maybe I could say something as well. If you have any questions about any aspect of your Kundalini awakening process, or any comments or questions specific to the show, I'd really encourage you to dial in. Now, because Chrism is talking live in there, you'll get through to me first in the studio, and then I'll patch you through to Chrism. And from feedback that I've received and, from just being here every week, I know that we all love the dynamic that live phone calls bring to the show. So those of you who are maybe even considering calling in, I'd really encourage you to be brave. Pick up the phone and dial in, and we'd be delighted to speak with you, and it would be wonderful for the show. So the number that you can dial is an American number, and it's 347-934-0026, and I look forward to hearing from you. I'm looking forward to the show, Chrism.
Well, thank you, and yeah, so Amelia is correct. I do reach out to all different time zones of the world. Not everybody sleeps at the same time, and so I am somewhat preoccupied that way. I would like to give you other venues for this information, and one of those venues is Chrism.Kunalini on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Chrism.Kunalini, you'll come to the videos. There's I think there's about 275 videos, and these will give you another level of information about your Kundalini awakening experience. And so please go there. You can also go to KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com, and that's the number 1, not the spelled out word. So that's KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com, and I'd like to thank Glenn Ola of Australia for putting that website together. Thank you, Glenn. I'd also like to thank Eileen Laurel for the many gifts and blessings that she bestows upon, the community of the as she calls it, the KAS1 community. So thank you, Eileen. We are looking at possibly putting on a seminar in the Florida area, and Eileen is integral to that. So if you have any questions about that, then you can contact Eileen at eloro55@yahoo.com. So that's eloro or eloro55@yahoo.com, and you can get a hold of Eileen that way and talk to her about that. And so thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, those of you that are tuning in via in the future, via the files or the saved aspect of this program. So thank you for listening in the future as well. This is somewhat of a divergent subject, but it's also a very important subject that we need to discuss with regards to the Kundalini and the amazing environmental story that's unfolding in northern Japan. Fukushima, just to catch some people up if you haven't heard about it, Fukushima was a nuclear power plant on the northeast coast of Japan that in 2011, when they had a devastating earthquake and tidal wave that washed over and through Japan. This is that power station kind of experiencing a China syndrome meltdown, meaning the fuel rods are kind of melting into the earth, and a lot of radioactivity is being released into the ocean and the air, and certainly in the landmass there in Japan. It's important to talk about this within a Kundalini context, because this is not something that you can ignore. Not saying that the Kundalini won't help you, and of course the Kundalini will help any of her children that she is activated or awakening in, but it's not going to fix this problem. Okay? People are going to have to figure out a way to fix this problem, and unfortunately, people haven't, here in the West at least, the media for the level and scope of the disaster that's occurring as we speak in Fukushima, Japan. The media is pretty much shielding most of the American public from what is actually occurring, and that is unfortunate, because that's the way it is here in the United States at this moment until we choose to change it. Let me read you a few facts right off the bat about the Fukushima plant. Here we go. Polar bears, seals, walruses along Alaska's coastline are suffering from fur loss and open sores. There's an epidemic of sea lion deaths along the California coastline. Along the Pacific coast of Canada and the Alaska coastline, the population of sockeye salmon is at a historic low, and many people are blaming Fukushima. Something is causing fish all along the west coast of Canada to bleed from their gills, bellies, and eyeballs. This is very similar to what people do when they come in contact with too much radiation. A vast field of radioactive debris from Fukushima that is approximately the size of California has crossed the Pacific Ocean and is starting to collide with the west coast of the United States and Canada and Mexico and Ecuador and Peru and Chile. In addition to all of the islands that are sprinkled out there, they're all getting it as well. It's being projected that the radioactivity of coastal waters off the U.S. West Coast could double over the next 5 to 6 years. Experts have found very high levels of cesium-137 and plankton living in the waters of the Pacific Ocean between Hawaii and the West Coast. One test in California found that 15 out of 15 bluefin tuna were contaminated with radiation from Fukushima, and they can trace that radiation back to the reactor that's leaking it. And these are in bluefin tuna, folks, tuna fish. You may want to reconsider buying any tuna fish, especially if you know it's coming from the Pacific Ocean. In 2012, the Vancouver Sun reported that cesium-137 was being found in very high concentrations of the percentage of fish that Japan was selling to Canada. So you might be having this fish appear in your grocery stores, and you need to be very, very careful about eating anything from the Pacific Ocean now. Canadian authorities are finding extremely high levels of nuclear radiation in certain fish samples. Some experts believe that we could see very high levels of cancer along the West Coast just from people eating contaminated fish. So just kind of red flag that a little bit for yourself and your family. BBC News recently reported that radiation levels around Fukushima are 18 times higher than previously believed. 18 times higher. A European Union-funded study concluded that Fukushima released up to 210 quadrillion becquerels of cesium-137 into the atmosphere. A becquerel is a measurement of the amount of radiation that's being released. It's like another measurement is called a rad, R-A-D, and that's some of you are more familiar with that. Atmospheric radiation from Fukushima reached the west coast of the United States within a few days back in 2011. At this point, 300 tons of contaminated water is pouring into the Pacific Ocean from Fukushima every single day. And then you just want to multiply that times the amount of days that has gone by since this disaster occurred. At this point, a senior researcher of marine chemistry at Japan's Meteorological Agency's Research Institute says 30 billion becquerels of radioactive cesium and 30 billion becquerels of radioactive strontium are being released into the Pacific Ocean from Fukushima every single day. According to TEPCO, a total of somewhere between 20 trillion and 40 trillion becquerels of radioactive tritium have gone into the Pacific Ocean since Fukushima disaster first began. And according to a Tokyo University, 3 gigabecquerels, that's Giga becquerels of cesium-137 are flowing into the port at the Fukushima Daiichi every single day. Okay. It has been estimated that up to 100 times as much nuclear radiation has been released into the ocean from Fukushima than was released during the entire Chernobyl disaster. One recent study concluded that a very large plume of cesium-137 from Fukushima disaster will start flowing into the U.S. coastal waters early next year. It is being projected that significant levels of cesium-137 will reach every corner of the Pacific Ocean by 2020. It's being projected that the Pacific Ocean will have cesium levels 5 to 10 times higher than what we witnessed during the heavy atomic bomb testing in the Pacific a few decades ago. The immense amounts of nuclear radiation getting into the water in the Pacific Ocean has caused environmental activist Joe Martino to issue the following warning: your days of eating Pacific Ocean fish are over. I'll repeat that. Your days of eating Pacific Ocean fish are over. The iodine-131, cesium-137, and strontium-90 that are constantly coming from Fukushima are going to affect the health of those living in the northern hemisphere for a very, very long time. According to a recent Planet InfoWars report, the California coastline is being transformed into what some say is a dead zone. A study conducted last year came to the conclusion that radiation from Fukushima nuclear disaster could negatively affect human life along the west coast of North America from Mexico to Alaska for decades. According to the Wall Street Journal, it is being projected that the cleanup of Fukushima could take up to 40 years to complete. Okay, this is an issue that can harm humanity for thousands of years. So I just wanted to, those are facts. Those are the facts that we know of at this point. Okay. Now, how does the Kundalini fit into this? Well, here's the deal. There are patterns of probability that certain disasters will occur if certain errors within the population are allowed to flourish. The gluttony and the greed of the United States and Soviet Union, China, and to some degree the European Union for cheap and easy power is really one of the seed issues behind this disaster. And so, the people who build these power plants and the engineers and the different scientists that choose a location, they really have themselves to blame for these types of things, because you don't put a nuclear reactor on a fault line like they have done in California. One need only look as far as San Onofre down in Los Angeles area. That's right on the ocean, and by the way, it's right on the San Andreas Fault. So we knew as we came into bodies that certain patterns of probability would occur within our lifetimes as we have the Kundalini. Now, yes, the Kundalini will protect her children to a large degree. But her children also have to come at least 50% of the way in order to incur that protection. Meaning, within this understanding is you don't eat fish from the Pacific Ocean. Period. I'm sorry to say that because as Amelia may have kind of described to you, I don't live high on the hog, as they say in the southern United States. I'm not living a monetary wealthy life, and so when I go out and buy food, I have to buy what my money will purchase, and that's just taking a real big chunk out of the food nutrients that I can partake of with regards to the Pacific Ocean, tuna fish and things of that nature. And yes, this has been known for years that the deep water fish like tuna and some sharks and some swordfish and sailfish and marlins and deep water fish of that nature, they have high levels of mercury anyway. But what this is going to do to the sushi industry and to many different aquaculture industries is going to be devastating, and food resources may become a bit harder to find. One thing I'm going to advise people to do from a Kundalini perspective is, because you can't really partake of the seafood to get your iodine, I'm going to suggest that you get atomidine, Atomidine, and that's a oral iodine that you can, you put one drop in an 8-ounce glass of water and take that down, and you have your iodine, and this iodine will of course protect certain areas of your body from radiation poisoning to a degree. It doesn't mean that you can go over into Fukushima and lift the nuclear rods with your hands because you had atomidine that morning. I certainly don't want you to think that. But this whole disaster is going to have a very, very significant effect upon your Kundalini. More energy in the air. This could be seen as a way of teaching humanity that the excesses of the ego, meaning the greed and the gluttony and the laziness and the various institutions that make a lot of money off of power, and these institutions are filled with people who enjoy making that money. You can understand that in this Western society that we've grown up with here in the United States, at least, and Canada, I might add. And so these gluttonous and environmentally poor ways of producing energy, well, we're going to start paying for that a lot more than we would have expected to have to pay for it. For you, the Kundalini person, begin to look at what it is you're consuming. Come 50% of the way. Look at what you're consuming and where it's coming from. If it's a plant-based product, look at who grows it. Get it as organic as you can, even though you're having a huge level of cesium coming in through the atmosphere in the clouds, and so the fresh water will be also radioactive to a much larger degree than it currently is. Even though that is occurring, you can still mitigate a lot of the effects of radiation poisoning by choosing where it is you get your food. Choosing where it is you get your food and how it is you get your food, and what kind of proteins you're eating and things of this nature. If you can grow it and do it yourself, then, as I've said many times in the past, then I would certainly suggest that you do that. Grow your food, grow the feed that you say. If you have chickens, grow your own feed so that the chickens, they're not having, strontium-based foods or cesium-137-based foods, given to them. Do your level best to begin to change how you consume and what you consume regarding your food sources. And remember, just in these 28 facts that I just spoke about, and I'll give you the web address for these 28 facts. This is the it's www.D as in dog, O as in Oscar, S as in Sam, E as in Elizabeth .ca, and then you can just go 28 facts. 28 facts prove Fukushima nuclear disaster. So, www.dose.ca. I believe that's a Canadian website, and it shows this really beautiful graph of NOAA satellite imagery of radiation that is now impacting the west coast of the United States, Canada, Alaska, Central America, and all of South America on the Pacific side. It looks like Australia is somewhat free and clear to some degree, at least from the currents that are taking the currents are taking it more to the east than it is to Australia. So Australia, Burma, looks like parts of Indonesia, Borneo, some of the Philippine Islands, it looks like, are at this point still somewhat less radioactive than other places. But anyway, if you want to go to that website, I would suggest it. And you look at these 28 facts and you begin to understand the seriousness of what has occurred. Now, of course, this was an act of God, people would say. Well, anything on this world is an act of God. So that's not the best, that would not be the best identification of the problem. Oh, well, it's an act of God. Everything on this world is an act of God. It's an act of grace. And the tests that we are given through these different actions of grace are what allows us to sculpt our character and in how we respond to these disasters. Okay. You need to respond to this disaster by acknowledging the mistakes that we have made as a society in the past, acknowledging our lust for power, and instead of using sunlight or wind or even the wave action, we have chosen the easy route of nuclear power, which is not proving earthquake or tidal wave proof. And that is just the hubris of humanity, to think that that silly little wall that the Japanese put up thinking that it was going to block a tidal wave would actually do anything. Okay, the tidal wave just goes right over it. Putting nuclear reactors on the ocean coasts, the people that were marching against nuclear energy back in the 70s, these people have proven themselves correct. It just took a little time. That's all. Okay, so we need to look at San Onofre. We need to look at some of these other ocean-based nuclear power plants, wherever they are in this world, and begin to shut them down. I hate to be so so definitive about it, but they need to be closed down, and those rods need to be moved away from the coastlines. This is my opinion. This is the opinion of the Kundalini within me. With regards to your response to this, you can, and I know this sounds so trite and such a cliche, but for those of you that have the Kundalini, you know that your prayers are heard. You know that your conversation with the Kundalini is monitored and partaken of by the Kundalini. You know this is a fact because the Kundalini tells you. I mean, you have the ability to have a strong, firm level of communication with your Kundalini. This is not something that is faith-based. Oh, if I pray enough and if I give enough money to the church, then God will speak to me. Well, you don't have to do that with Kundalini. Kundalini's there. God is there. God has put God's hand upon you. His and her hand are upon you. You have been touched and are being touched by God. And so your prayers are being listened to. They're being heard. And one of the things that I'm going to ask people, or I'm not going to ask you to do, I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do with it, and you can either do it or not. If you live on the West Coast, and if you follow any Dr. Emoto's understandings with regards to his electron pictures of water and what happens to water when you pray in it, or when you're thankful with it, or when you have gratitude, things like that, how that affects the actual crystals of the water. Well, I would have you place your hands in the ocean or the lakes or the land, wherever you are, and give that water, give that earth a healing with your Kundalini. Let your Kundalini pour into that. If you've looked at some of the videos, you see how great a footprint a Kundalini can be. So go to that YouTube website, Chrism.Kundalini, and go to Kundalini footprint. And this will give you an idea of how, it's almost a mile in radiance that an energetic footprint from an awakened Kundalini person can be. And that's not the biggest one. That's just one that, is a general idea to give you the concept. Okay? You can have an effect on Fukushima. Because you have Kundalini, you can have a restorative effect upon the environment that the radiation is falling on. Okay, you Kundalini people can do this work. And I'm going to suggest that you do this work. If you'd like to call in, the guest call-in number is 347-934-0026. That would be a United States area code 347-934-0026. So this, just like, when I was, back when I was really young, we were still doing nuclear tests in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of, in various island areas, the most beautiful part of the world, the South Pacific, they're setting off nuclear warheads. And so my karma and my choice to come in at this time is not accidental. And I'm going to suggest neither is it accidental for you. You have come into this world and you've matured to the point where you recognize that you may have Kundalini, or you're seeking Kundalini, or you want to have a greater relationship with the divine. And this is all good. This is all good. But now the divine is asking more of a relationship, is to extend that relationship from the divine into those many, many ecosystems that may be destroyed or damaged by the amount of nuclear radiation in the water, in the seawater, and in the air, in the rain, in the snow, and on the land. Think of your kids. Think of your grandkids. Think of the future populations that may benefit from the actions that you take right now as you blend, maybe even greater than you ever have, with your Kundalini, and you touch the earth with your bare feet and your bare hands in prayer and gifting a healing to this land and to these waters. Okay, you don't have to live on the Pacific Ocean to make this occur. You can do this. You can do it, and you don't have to do it from a basis of fear. Remember, Kundalini people should typically have levels of fear, especially if you've gone for a few years in your process. Levels of fear are not the same as those levels of fear when you're not awakened with the Kundalini. So you don't have to come at it from a level of fear. Just come at it from a level of love. Love for the many creatures and plants and forms of life that are dependent on clean water, clean air, clean land. And restore through the grace of God within you, through the grace of the Kundalini within you, those areas. And some of you will really only need to think about it. And try to control the caustic responses like, oh, well, since they made their bed, let them sleep in it. I'm Kundalini active, I'm just going to ascend out of here and da-da-da-da. Well, that's just not the case. You came here with many different purposes. You're being given an opportunity to blend with your Kundalini to such a degree that it allows a level of healing to occur on this world. Okay, you don't get to just back out of this because it's convenient for you or because you want to be a pessimist or any of these types of things, because radioactivity doesn't care if you're a pessimist. Okay, the only one who cares that you're a pessimist is your ego. And when I say operate from love, I want you to operate from love, not from your ego, but from your love of all creation, all corporeal creation, and allow that love to sink into the earth and into the waters and to give a healing for this type of a situation. A lot of this is from the ego, this idea that we, and I have to, I'm going to lay some of the blame straight up with the Christian faith. Okay, the Christian faith, which is pretty much the faith that founded the United States, is basically saying, oh, we are stewards of the earth. Stewards of the earth. Well, I think that stewardship has gone pretty badly. I don't think that we should, Christians or any other denomination of religious belief system, should see themselves in such a way that they can take full advantage of the world and pollute it and toxify it because they feel in their belief system that they're stewards of the earth. They can do whatever they want. All the land, all the animals of the land, the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and the plants because we can see just through the activities of Monsanto what kind of stewards of the earth we have been. And so I'm going to suggest that no. We are not stewards of the earth. We are brothers and sisters of all the creations that are on this world. And because we have the grace within us, the awakened grace within us, we have the ability to give a healing without taking credit for it. We give all credit to the Kundalini. We give all credit to the divine. Okay? We can help with this problem, but you must choose to do it. And if you don't choose to help, and yet you still choose to partake of the food that you've been eating, well then, you will reap the rewards of that inaction. Whether it be, eating the cleanest food there is or eating the most radioactive food there is, you will reap those rewards. You may reap those rewards anyway, even if you do give service. I'm living 40 minutes from the Pacific Ocean. 40 minutes, okay? That's by car, so it's really like 20 minutes, if that, by air. And, so I'm already radioactive. Of course, I've been glowing for a while. and so have some of you, I imagine. So look at this and begin to take a proactive approach to this. Blend with your Kundalini. Use this as a reason to blend with your Kundalini. If you haven't ever done it before because you were too afraid of Kundalini syndrome or having these amazing changes happen to you in your body, your life, and your family, and your work, and the foundation of how you fit into your society and into yourself, your soul, reach into the Kundalini now. Reach in and begin that conversation. Follow the safety protocols that are on KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com. Just go straight to the safeties there. And begin to have that conversation with your Kundalini. Now is the time. Now is the time. It wasn't 2012. It wasn't the year 2000. It wasn't any of the other disaster predictions. It's now. The disaster is happening now. And this is your opportunity to give this world, this earth, this people, these creations, the billions of creations on this world, a way to survive and flourish inside these man-made toxic events. Okay. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to call 347-934-0026. I would like to go ahead and bring America. Yes, hello.
Hi, Chrism. And sometimes your voice is warbling.
Oh, no.
And there's a bit of a vibe. Yeah, just occasionally. It self-corrects. So I'm just wondering, are you moving or doing anything?
Well, my mouth is moving.
I know. Besides that, I don't know why it's.
That's okay. It's all right. I mean, we've been dealing with this ever since we started these shows. So, Amelia, how much do you and your family depend upon ocean products for sustenance?
Well, that's interesting, Chrism. We live by the ocean, but we're by the Atlantic Ocean over in Ireland, and I think so we're not as affected, but we probably are affected. I haven't looked at a map recently, so I'm not sure. But I have stopped eating fish since July through my Kundalini. I just was given to not eat fish anymore. So that's interesting for me.
Well, that's also something that maybe some of the listeners may want to consider as well. No more fish.
Yeah.
Freshwater or saltwater.
Yeah, and I mean, my hubby, he certainly likes his fish. As a matter of fact, he's replaced a lot of red meat with fish, so he's been eating fish. We wouldn't always know the source of the fish, but most of it is from the Atlantic.
Okay, all right.
But that is also now going to be,
Yeah, that will get it. Looks like.
Will do.
Thank you, Amelia. Yeah. Amelia brings up a good point. That she lives off the Atlantic coastline. Well, it is all one ocean. We just call it different oceans. So the Pacific Ocean is the same water that flows into the Atlantic, which is the same water that flows into the Arctic, which is the same water that flows into the South Atlantic, which is the same water that flows into the Indian Ocean, and all the various oceans all the way until it comes back around to the Pacific Ocean. So it's one ocean. Okay. It's one ocean. And then the nuclear radiation may not reach the coast of Ireland or the coast of France or England or Scotland or any of the Nordic countries or the African coastline yet, but it's going to. It's not going away. It's not evaporating. Okay. So these are issues that many people need to take in consideration, but especially you as Kundalini people. You are in a relationship with the Mother Earth. Mother Earth, Mother Nature is Mother Shakti Kundalini, sacred feminine. Blend with her. Open a conversation with your sacred feminine, Mother Earth, Mother Nature within you at the base of your spine, right down to the tip of your tailbone. Conversation with your Kundalini. And for those of you that want to be healers and to be helpful, I commend you. I commend you for that. Now is the time. Whether you think you're K-active or not, you go out there, you grab some dirt in your hands, and you just press your palms down into the soil, and you begin to pray to the Kundalini. Pray for the health of the life that is currently on this world. Pray for the mind change of humanity that is currently on this world. And really begin your healing service now. Don't wait until you have a spinal sweep or kriyas or you're seeing visions or anything. Don't let that drive you. Let your own health drive you. Let the health of your kids, your grandkids, your best friends, your neighbors, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, let that drive you. And don't just do it one time. Go out there and do it a number of times. Make it a meditation that you do daily. And I know it's wintertime, and I know in parts of Canada and northern United States, it's not so easy to go out there and get your hands, in the dirt because, in Canada it could be permafrost right now, and in the United States, like North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, these areas, they're experiencing really cold weather, but you still, put your gloves on, grab a handful of snow, and start talking to the crystals in the snow. It's still the Mother Shakti, but get out there and start to make a difference. Your Kundalini will call you and will respond to you in these ways. Okay, I was out there in the soil today, planting the seeds of hope and the seeds of regeneration and the seeds of grace for this environment that is under constant attack from humanity. You do this too. It's not even 10 minutes. But you can make it last as long as you want. Okay? This is really important for people to understand. This is happening now. You're breathing this now. If you're eating fish from the Pacific Ocean, you're eating this radiation now. Get a Geiger counter. See how many rads your meal has in it. Then you will have a government-approved level of radiation, as they call it, the GAR, government-approved radiation levels, GARL.
Oh, gosh.
I wouldn't put it past them. I would not put it past them. And so the scenario is, you can live with this. And, the fish that are bleeding from their bellies, their eyes, and their gills, well, that's exactly what happens to humanity. If you look at any of the Hiroshima or Nagasaki pictures of people having severe radiation trauma, that's exactly what was happening to them. Bleeding from the eyes, nose, mouth, having clumps of hair fall out, just like the polar bears and the walruses up there in Alaska. Okay, this is not lightweight stuff here.
Chrism,
yes.
What you're saying is very inspiring, I have to say. But I just want to go back to what you've said about the disaster happening now. And I'm thinking of, all the drama and the excitement that was there pre-2012, about the planetary and all the different things that people were predicting could occur. And here we are in 2013, and really, you're right. This is a disaster. This is something that is completely changing the world, isn't it? And it's like, I think I read something recently that somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said that, it's not front news because this isn't a war, but, nobody has dropped a bomb. We've, no planetary thing has actually happened, but we're actually doing this to ourselves, this worldwide contamination. And so it really is, it is that disaster.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just thinking of it in those terms now, and I'm kind of going, my God,
Yeah, it happened in 2011. Okay, so the entire year of 2012, these loads and loads and loads and loads of radioactivity were being pumped into the ocean. But everybody was looking, at the sky, looking, Planet X, or, aliens, coming in, or, massive earthquakes, and the whole thing, the entire 2012 was all about Fukushima, but nobody was looking there. Partly, I think people just don't want to look at that. I mean, that is so depressing. And you feel, the typical person will feel so unable to make a difference, so, just abandoning their responsibility to the degree where they don't want to do anything. They don't want to try to help. They don't feel that they can help, and so it just kind of dissolves into a real passivity. Passiveness. It's like, oh well, gosh, it's so far out of my control, and I can't do anything about that. Well, you can. You can do something about this. You who have the Kundalini, you who know about the Kundalini, who have read about the Kundalini, who have listened to some of these programs, you know that your Kundalini is alive and well within you, and it defies the principles of science. All these things that we've talked about in these many programs since we started last December 2012. All of these conversations about all the different phenomena and the different experiences that a person can have with regards to the Kundalini, and many of these experiences defy science, defy physics. The laws of physics don't really matter to the Kundalini. Well, that goes straight up with this healing that I'm suggesting that we all do. And so this very next week, this next Wednesday, I want to hold a mass healing for this world. And we'll do it on air. So get as many of your Kundalini friends to tune into this channel, and we will do a mass healing with the Kundalini on this world, on the air, the water, the earth, everything, the life of this world. Really, really go out of your way to do this. And don't do this just one time. Do this over and over and over until your Kundalini says it's enough. And she may never tell you it's enough. And the other thing is you want to consider is when you give a healing with the Kundalini, by giving that healing through Kundalini, you give yourself a healing through Kundalini as well. And you're giving, the butterflies a healing. You're giving the geese and the swans and the fish and the plants and the beautiful rocks and crystals. You're giving all of that a healing. So this very next Wednesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific Coast time, Pacific Standard Time, PST, we will do an on-air live healing. I'll just kind of walk everybody through it. Let me see how. Now, I'm surprising Amelia with this, so she doesn't know this is occurring. So, Amelia, come back. Just went to the bathroom, which then don't come back. Stay there. Okay, all right. So, Wednesday, 3 o'clock PST, we're going to hold a live on-air healing for this world and just kind of give you the basics so that you can go outside or anywhere that you can and begin to give these healings to this world. Okay, and let's just focus on Fukushima, because later on we can focus on other areas like people finding different ways of powering their life. different ways of electrical power generation or things of that nature. But this we need to do right now with Fukushima. Okay, there are aspects of this world and of this life that do not conform to the methods of science. There are mystical responses to radiation spills or to the oil spill that occurred in the Gulf. Okay. There are many options left for Kundalini people that do not require a basis in the scientific method or science-based methodologies. You can go into the mystical aspect, and you can retrieve tools in the mystical aspect that are more than able to correct some of these issues that have come up through the indulgence, ignorance, and egomaniacal processes of humanity. Okay. Amelia, you back?
I hadn't gone away. I just had not unmuted myself. I'm here.
So we're doing a healing this time next week for the world. And I know that sounds pretty, that sounds so ego, we're going to heal the world. Well, it's not that way. It's just the time has come for these types of gifts to be given. And, I didn't choose Kundalini in Fukushima. That was chosen by the Kundalini. So she wants us to look at it. She wants us to give this healing, to take these steps and to go forward into a proactive state rather than just listening to the BlogTalk radio state. Okay? Let's get into a proactive healing mind state where we can give of the Kundalini within us to this world and to everything and everyone on this world. Let us do this daily. This next Wednesday, and that will be let's see, this is the 27th already? No.
The 4th of December, Chrism.
Thank you. The 4th of December. This is when we're going to do it, okay? So tell your friends, tell the people that you know that have Kundalini, don't put yourself at any risk by telling people about Kundalini that maybe Kundalini would frighten them or scare them or cause them to call the ambulance on you. But get yourself together and those who you know that have Kundalini, and let's give this world a healing. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it every day, every weekday, every day. Until the 4th, and then we'll all do it together. So those of you can place your hands in the snow or place your hands in the soil or place your hands in the ocean. Do it. I don't care if you're on the Atlantic coast or if you're on the Caribbean coast or the Gulf coast or any of the coasts. It's all one ocean. And you spread that grace to any of the oceans that you can touch. So Eileen, that means you down there in Florida. Okay, you can touch that water, and any of you that are in Florida or on any of the coastlines in the States or in other countries, you just go out there and hold that water or just push your hands in the water and give that healing. Remember, there's a radiance that comes off of your hands. I'm being shown a radiance of about 8 inches off of the skin of their hands, a golden glow. Let that golden glow go into the waters or on the land. Okay, give this world a healing. And continue to give this world a healing. Don't stop. Don't stop because you think that it's a one-time thing. It's not. It's not a one-time thing. Give this world a healing. And for any other Kundalini conversation that you may want to have, you can call 347-934-0026. 347-934-0026. All right. So I'm going to wait for some callers, and if I get some callers, then we'll continue the conversation. If not, I'm going to go ahead and terminate this program a little less than an hour early. But I do want you to mark off December 4th, 2013, and tune in here to this Blog Talk radio station, and let's give a healing. And that all of you folks who listen on the Facebook or read the Facebook, all of the folks of you that are at KAS1 Yahoo, or all of you folks who may be watching the videos, well, let's do this. Let's make this work. I'm going to do it regardless. I'll do it every single day. And I encourage you to do that as well. So let's see. We have, does Rosemary have a question? Is that what the question mark is there?
Yes, Chris, I might put her through now.
Thank you. Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, Chrism. Can you hear me?
Clearly.
Okay, good. I am very inspired by what you said, and my first thought, of course, was, well, what am I going to eat, like that. And because I know that fish provides us, in this whole big picture, it provides us a lot of good stuff. And but I could see that narrow view, and I certainly inspired by what you're saying. And I do pay attention at times to us as a human family and wonder at times, how we can shift the way we are about the world, the planet, and what are our needs versus the needs of the world. But I wanted to talk with you because I was promising, as you were talking, I said, I can do that. I can get to touch the land right outside me here, and I will do that every day. And when you talked about the waters, here in Minnesota, we have the Mississippi running down from above down to upper Minnesota down through to the Gulf. And I don't know how to get to that, but I will try to find out.
You can get to that. I've been down to the coastline of the Mississippi up there. It's not as big up there as it is down there in Louisiana. You can reach right into the water there. I mean, be careful.
Well, I mean, where it's accessible to be near that water, but I'll find it.
That would be a good thing for you to do. Now, as far as what to eat, you still need to follow your Kundalini guidance.
No, I'm not asking. I'm just telling you and owning my narrow, selfish first view that automatically comes up.
That's
and
okay. That's all right.
Not enough. But no, I don't need an answer. But it's like, yeah, sure, that's the first thing that I thought about. But from what I have on my shelf,
Well, I know because I've worked with you for a while now that you're a person, when she says she's going to do something, she's going to do it, and so I appreciate that in you, Rosemary, and
Thank you.
And I will join with you every day, going out and giving this world a healing with the Kundalini, blending the Kundalini into a healing equation for this world. Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it looks like we have another questioner here. There's Fashji. Hello, Fashji.
Master C, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I particularly enjoyed this particular talk on Fukushima. I've been watching this very closely ever since it started. And I have been appalled at how the folks in Japan have actually sort of turned a blind eye to it. But that's not to say that, I can make any judgments. Anyway, you mentioned that on Wednesday and up until Wednesday, we will be doing this sitting love and energy of healing and health to Mother Earth. I live in the Great Lakes area, so there's plenty of water here to connect with. Is there any, are there any particular instructions that you would give as we do this blessing?
Well, yeah. I mean, definitely, if you're down by the water, connect with your Kundalini first. I don't care if you need to do the 5 Tibetans or do any part of the practice that a person would do, daily. Like somebody who's interested in the Shaktipat or something, I ask them to do the safeties every day. And so, if you're able to do the safeties and really make that connection with Kundalini, then come down and just hold the water in your hand, or just put your hands in the water and say a prayer to the goddess Shakti. Say that prayer. Whatever comes to your mind.
Mm-hmm. And would that also apply to the land as well, Master C?
That would also apply to the land as well. And then on this next Wednesday, December 4th, I will give very specific prayers for all of us to partake of. Now, I've done these mass healings before. They seem to be somewhat effective, and so I would encourage everybody. Everybody here: Rosemary, Fashti, Amelia, myself, Tim, and all the different guests. Guest 2130-2412-2413-2415 and 2684. I would recommend that everybody come and begin and partake of this mass healing that we're going to give to this world and all life upon this world.
Okay.
And you can expect to read about. Yeah, thank you, Fashti. We're gonna put this on the Facebook and on the Yahoo groups, and we're gonna really, bring this into people's awareness.
Right.
Okay.
It's great, Chris, and since my Kundalini is really resonating for me, because I think I've been actually quite passive, exactly what you've been saying. I haven't been proactive. I've been observing. I've been aware. I mean, even to the extent that here in Ireland, I said we're not that affected. But in actual fact, we have the Gulf Stream, which washes the shores of County Kerry, where I live. And it is one ocean. And so I really feel inspired by what you've been saying, and I'm going to go to the ocean every day this week. And yes, let's do this. Let's really do this. I thank you.
Absolutely. I can agree more, Amelia. And even though I can't get to the ocean as easy as you can, or to a large body of water as easy as fast you can, I'm going to put my hands in the soil. And I'm just going to merge with the soil through the Kundalini and give that an extremely wide footprint, and so that the water that covers the soil through the rivers and the creeks and all the different areas, that these areas also will receive a Kundalini healing. Okay, the time has really come for Kundalini people to step up to the plate, to step up to the responsibilities that are given to those that have extraordinary gifts. We don't have gifts because we want to be a circus act, or we want to get on TV, or become a movie star, or somebody that does amazing feats of whatever for money. We are honoring that from which we have come from, that from which our bodies have come from, and that is the earth. We're like 78% water, and if you take all the water out, then basically you have just some minerals and some proteins and things of that nature. Okay, so let's jump in and let's prove that at least to the Kundalini within ourselves, that we are worthy of this grace. We can have it responsibly. We can give healings, not just for ourselves and our kids and our grandkids, but for everybody's kids and grandkids. And for the grandkids of the chipmunks and the crickets and the sow bugs and the birds and the mammals and the fish. I mean, you know, it's not just our grandkids that are.
Yeah, and it's not about, I mean, you're talking there, you know, about it's not about these, it's also not about being small in a local way, speaking of myself, you know, in a local community way, because I am of this earth in an expansive way. And I do need to step up, Chrism. I actually do need to step up, so I'm going to do that.
Well, that's all of us. That's all of us, Amelia.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm still here, but I wanted to stay on just to say thank you very much for bringing this very important message today, Master C, and I'm going to get off. Thank you so much, Amelia and Rosemary. I enjoy everything. Thank you.
And you, Fast Chief.
You got a great voice. You got a great voice.
I know. Every time he says hello, and I go, Fast Chief, I just melt. He's so fabulous voice.
I think you should be doing these radio shows, Fast Chief. So yeah, let's take the hint, everybody. Let's take the hint and look. You may not be able to do this. You may not be able to find the time, or you know, or have the wherewithal to go out and do this. And all I'm going to suggest for these days before the December 4th, just go out and touch a tree, touch the ground, touch the water, a wild water source if you can. And just say, from my Kundalini, I give healing. I give healing and grace into this world. Through the water, through the land, through the air. Radiance of my physical being, I give a healing to this world. As I am of this world, therefore this world is of me. And I choose to have positive, healthy, constructive healing given to this world that I am and that is me. This personalizes it. I want you to personalize it. Okay? It doesn't mean that, you know, there's a lot of Kundalini people that'll say, oh my gosh, we're all one and this doesn't really matter. You just like, you know, we're just going to, you know, ascend, or we're just going to, you know, go ahead and no. No, it does matter. This world does matter. The sacred feminine does matter. And, you know, I'm not buying this, oh, we are one. We are all one. Well, it's true. We are one, but we're also separate within that oneness. Okay? We're also unique. And oneness does not disqualify us from responsibility. You know, just because we're one, well, that doesn't mean you're without responsibility. If you have partaken at all, ever, in your life of nuclear power, then you have partaken of this problem already before it even occurred. Okay? So you're in some way, you're indebted to this world. Be part of the solution. Don't continue to be part of the problem. Okay? If you at all can go solar, go solar. Yes, I understand the manufacturing of solar cells does, you know, I mean, it's all connected. I get it, but if you can at all change your power source options, then do it, if you can. Most of us cannot. I have a trailer and I have a generator. That generator runs on gasoline. Okay, so boom, there I am, right back into the mix of things with this. And so, you know, I know most folks wouldn't be able to live the way I live anyway, and so I don't expect that of anybody. But I don't know that going out once a day, picking up a handful of soil or a handful of snow or water or whatever, and giving a prayer to the earth, to the sacred feminine within us, is asking too much for anybody. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair. You can hold that leaf, you can hold that grass, you can hold that rock and give that same blessing. Okay? You're not limited with Kundalini the way you think or the way your ego has allowed you to think that you have limitations within the Kundalini. You do not have limitations. I mean, the one limitation that is self-provided is fear. Oh gosh, I don't want to do this healing. My Kundalini might awaken. Well, you certainly don't want to be listening to this program if you don't want to have your Kundalini awakened. Okay. For those of you who do have the Kundalini and are maybe feeling like it's a blessing to have the Kundalini, well, I'm talking with you right now. Protect your source. Protect the goddess within. Give her the love that you have to give. And give that healing to this world. You know, the more people do it, the more powerful it becomes. And remember the size of that Kundalini footprint. It is no small thing. Now, I'm on Facebook at, I believe it's Chrism Kundalini at Facebook, but there's also one at Chris Mitchell, Mitchell at Facebook. I prefer to be called Chrism, but call me Hey You for that matter. What I care about is your participation within this little act of grace that may have very large outcomes. But don't expect anybody to come pat you on the back. They're not going to come patting you on the back, say, hey, well, I might. I might pat you on the back. But the powers that be, shall we say, the governments and the companies that are out there really causing these problems and ignoring, any kind of a cleanup opportunity, they won't come and pat you on the back. They may say, oh, well, science came through once again, and okay, fine. Whatever takes care of the problem I'm fine with. But let's take care of the issue. Let's take care of this planet Kundalini-wise, in ways that only Kundalini people can do. And if you'd like to call in, the number is area code 347-934-0026. And I'm willing to talk with you any aspect of your Kundalini awakening experience. With the healing, remember. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I was going to take the opportunity, if I could, to just tell people about the seminars that I have
Sure.
dates for now. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's going to be a seminar in America in March, and there's going to be one in Ireland in March. Now, the date in America in the United States, is March the 22nd and the 23rd. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. And at this stage, it is probably going to be in New York, but that is not definite yet. But I would very much appreciate hearing from you. If you have an interest in attending one of Chrism's seminars in the USA, because in planning this, it's important to have that kind of information, and it helps me to know. So New York, possibly Boston, but we will know in the next week or two where it's going to be. But please do get in contact with me. That's on kundalinimatters@gmail.com. And then in Ireland, the seminar is on the 29th and the 30th of March, 29th and 30th.
And that will be held at
Yes.
Newgrange.
That's in Newgrange, in the same place, in the same venue that we had it recently. And I'm really looking forward to returning there. So again, if you're living in Europe, please get in contact with me, and I can help you with how to get here. by air. It's a very short trip really to Ireland, and the further out that you book your airfares with Ryanair in particular, the better value they are. When we began planning the last seminar, the flights from the United Kingdom were just £30 sterling return, which is an excellent price. But as it got nearer to the seminar, the prices go up. So the date is definite. It's the 29th and 30th of March. So do get in contact with me and let me know that you're interested and book your flights. And this will include accommodation as well. The accommodation will be included in that seminar. So again, it's kundalinimatters@gmail.com.
Thank you, Amelia. Yeah, exactly. The venue there in Ireland is excellent. It is a very good deal, and to go into Newgrange within a Kundalini understanding and a Kundalini environment is also extremely powerful. The last time we went in there, we had some very, very outstanding Kundalini phenomena occur for the people during the seminar. We basically make it a part of the seminar to go in there and to experience the darkness and to see the how the sunlight comes in there, but also the Kundalini herself is in there. And the last time we had we had very strong interaction with the Kundalini while we were in there, and so I just want you to know that the Irish one is very, very, very positive, and I look forward to doing one in New York or Boston or wherever on the East Coast of the United States. So if if this is the path that is calling to you, then you must listen to it. You must listen to it. Your life will never be the same until you start listening to it. And once you start listening to it, well, then you emerge into this new, powerful, beautiful place, this loving, blissful place of dual realities. Amelia wrote on Facebook today how she experiences dual realities happening. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Amelia?
I know you said something to me, Chrism, but it was just during one of those warbles and I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Did you want to talk a little bit about what it is to walk in dual realities?
Oh. Well, that has been happening for me recently in a different way. It's quite amazing. It's very hard for me to put into words. It's like some of you with Kundalini will have experienced maybe a waking vision where you're in your physical reality and for a time another reality you become more aware of it. You might have a waking vision. But what's going on for me at the moment is one doesn't fade out and the other one come in. The two things are happening, or the two experiences are happening at the very same time. It's like if you've experienced a bilocation, I've experienced that before, and in going to the other place, senses of the present physical go away as you go to the other location. But that hasn't been happening. It's been actually quite amazing.
I'll be interested to see how. I'd be interested to see how it merges with the healing we'll do on the 4th.
Yes.
And how it merges, and how it merges with what you're going to be doing on the seashore every day.
Yes. It's beautiful. But I mean, what you're saying about if the Kundalini is calling you, that is why I do this and help to make these seminars available for people, because of the importance of listening to that call. And you provide a venue and an opportunity for people to actually come and connect in with their Kundalini and learn about what is occurring. And so that's why I do it, because once you do that, once you actually take that step into listening to your Kundalini, your life will never be the same again. I mean, the blessings that comes, the grace that comes, the way of living your life once you have taken that step is incredible. It's not all fluffy bunnies, but it's incredible. Yeah.
There can be some fluffy bunnies too.
Yeah, there are.
I've had pet rabbits before. They're very cool. So the scenario is absolutely, if you feel the Kundalini is calling to you, then come to one of these workshops or just begin to practice the safeties. But make an action, make a move, lift a finger, even if it's just to join with your thumb. You know, your forefinger tip to your thumb tip, and to do 10 minutes of meditation. Do it. Begin this conversation with your Kundalini. And if you want to, you can start this week, the 7 days. The 7 days of healing for this world. Start this week. And then we'll culminate and do it all together at 3 p.m. PST on December 4th. Okay? So that's what I would like you to focus on, and that's what I'd like you to remember from this conversation. For those of you that are listening in the archives, and if you're listening in the archives after this has occurred, you can go right outside. You can go right outside and do this wherever you are, whenever you are. And you can have this conversation through your Kundalini to this world. This is important. This affects everybody. This affects every life pattern on this world. It's very important that we also take a step in the direction of preserving and protecting life, not only the life within us, but the life that surrounds us. We do not live on an island. We are a species interconnected with other species, interconnected with other species, interconnected with other species, interconnected with this world, this planet. Let's choose. Let's choose to give a healing to this planet. And through those interconnections, to all life that is here on this world. Okay. And if you have any comments or questions about what I'm bringing up today, and I'm sorry that it's that my voice is wobbling, as Amelia suggests, but if any of my words are clearly being spoken to you, and you're able to pick up from my words an invitation to you from your Kundalini, accept the invitation. Fukushima is going to bring a huge level of change on this world. Change of food source, change of energy source, change of pollution level, change of toxicity level, change of radioactivity level, change of health, the health of the current human system. Step up and protect yourself, your kids, your neighbor's kids, your grandkids, your neighbor's grandkids, the chipmunk's grandkids, the cricket's grandkids, the bird's grandkids, all the grandkids. For those of us who are mature adults, whatever species, let us begin to give in a way that only people with awakened Kundalini can give. Let's do this. And if there are no more callers and no more questions, then I will terminate this talk earlier by about 20 minutes. Do you have anything you'd like to say, Amelia, Fasti, or Rosemary? Go ahead, Amelia.
No, Chris, and let me just check with the others. No, but thank you very, very much. I'm looking forward to coming out of the passiveness and to becoming proactive and to going to the ocean every day this week. And you know, it does matter, and bringing a healing and offering that. And thank you very, very much, Chrism. Very much indeed.
That's something that you remind me of, Amelia, is if you are in any way able to go into devotion, severe devotion to your God or your goddess or whatever religious belief system that you are comfortable with, if you're able to go into devotion before you do the healing, it is much better. And Amelia, you have some experience with this, yeah?
Well, yes, because before I do healings in my work with people, I go into devotion to the Kundalini, and it actually makes a big difference. So yes, I shall certainly do that on the seashore.
So Fast G and Rosemary and Tim Ashworth and any of the other people that are listening, go into devotion. Fall in love with your Kundalini. Fall in love with the options and the opportunities that she is giving you. And take that proactive step. And I'll shut up now. I'm starting to sound like an infomercial.
No, you're not. Fasty and Rosemary, is there anything you want to add before we go? Because you're live there if you want to speak.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
All right, then. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a beautiful, beautiful day or night, morning or evening, afternoon, whatever it is where you are. And I look forward to giving this healing, these 7 days, but especially on December 4th. Please mark your calendar, and if you can do the healings, begin today, tonight. Bye-bye.